the 2018 non-calculator paper. So to begin with, classic question, we have got equation of the median through R, we've got a straight line question. They seem to love putting it into triangles, but yeah, definitely a straight line question. So whenever I see a straight line question, I always think, so question 1, I'll do it down here as more space actually. P, as our computer catches up, P, G, and E. So when you're doing a straight line, you need to have 2 points. So you can then work out your gradient, and then you can work out your equation. So you want 2 points. Or you've got 1 point, and you can work out a gradient, and then from that you can get your equation. But each time I'm doing this, you should be thinking this automatically just flows out. Y2 take away Y1, X2 take away X1. Sometimes that's not quite how I work out the gradient, but that's how I would start off most of these questions. So anyway, equation of median through R. So I've got R, and the median is going to cut this line in 2. So right away I know I've got R, which is 3, 6. So I'm going to put that in 3 and 6. But I need to get this this midpoint value here. So let's calculate that then. And to calculate that, you would add together your x's. So the midpoint would be the sum of the x's divided by 2, and the sum of the y's divided by 2. So if we add our x's together, I'm going to get 2 divided by 2, which is just 1. I'll write the full sum actually, negative 2 plus 4 divided by 2, and that'll be 4 plus 0 divided by 2. So it's going to come out as 1 and 2 as your midpoint. Now, you can just double check that's okay, because, let's just draw it in, we should find it does sit in between these 2 points. So if I go from 4 to 2 to 0, the gap each time from 4 to 2 to 0 is 2. Yeah, each time I'm taking away 2. So I'm thinking, yep, that makes sense, that's even, okay? And the next one, I'm going from negative 2 to 1, so I've gone up 3. So the next one should go up 3 as well. Yes, it does. So just a wee check there. So your midpoint, 1, 2. I'll just call that mid. And it's really just a lat 5 question. Difference in the y's. So I'll do 2 take away 6. 1 over 3. So my gradient for that will be negative 4 divided by negative 2. So it's just 2. And I'll substitute that in. I'll just substitute in this point. So y take away 2 is equal to 2x take away 1. Break out the bracket. Move over the negative 2. So they just cancel out to give you y is 2x. The only thing I could suggest, if you make some mistakes, if you're kind of making silly mistakes, label up your points, A and B and all the rest of it. That might help when you're doing the substitution. And yeah, just take your time. I think that's a really good check to make sure you get your midpoint correct. Okay, so that's question number 1, just a nice little straight line, PGE. The other things you might want to remember when you're doing your straight line is if you were only given 1 point, say you're working out the altitude. So if we were working out the altitude, we would know a point. We're doing an altitude. We would maybe know this point here. And the other thing we'd have to work out is the gradient. I'd work out the gradient of this line and then flip it and change the sign. So if the gradient of this line, say this line here was, negative 2, then the gradient of our altitude would be positive a half. You flip this and change the sign. So that's the other way you might be working out the equation of a line. But if you know a median cuts a line in 2 and an altitude's at 90 degrees, that's pretty much it. Sometimes you're asked to work out where 2 lines meet, and again, that's just simultaneous equations. You're just putting the 2 equations on top of each other. So maybe you might end up with y is equal to 4x plus 2 and 2y is equal to 3x plus 1. You're just multiplying this by 2, take them away from each other. So just your simultaneous equations from that 5. That's your main skills when you're looking at equations of a line. So yeah, hope that's helpful.